Hello, my friend. I am so excited to dive into this week's podcast episode for you on this week's astrology. Oh my goodness. I am super excited for this week. We have both Mercury and Venus turning direct this week. We also have a very potent full moon in Libra. So in this week's episode, I'll be diving deep into this full moon in Libra chart for you. I will also share some client breakthrough stories as to what conclusions they received after a session with me, especially when it came to their life path and career. So I'm really excited to share these. And I'll end off this podcast episode with a tarot reading of what energy to embrace, what energy to let go of. So let's just dive right into it. My apologies for my voice this week. As you can tell, I have a very scratchy voice. I'm just healing from a cold, and it's been a rough eclipse season for me, so I'm feeling a lot better this week, yet please bear with me as I dive into the transits of this week. Now, I first want to go through the major transits of this week, and then I want to dive deep into this full moon in Libra chart for you. So on April 7th, we have Mercury stationing direct in the sign of Pisces. Now Mercury stations direct at 26 degrees of Pisces, and I want you to think back to February 28th, 2025, because something from that time you're seeing in a different perspective. Mercury was in this degree at that time, so there's something in terms of your communication and thinking, especially around spiritual partnerships, how you emotionally react to situations, what you feel in terms of your growth, your spiritual growth, what this looks like when it comes to your creativity, what it looks like when it comes to your mental health, how you are taking care of your body, and how you connect to the spiritual collective consciousness. What does this look like? How are you protecting your energy? Go back to watch your Mercury Retrograde horoscopes because I am super excited to hear what breakthroughs you gain from those horoscopes now. I'll leave a link to those. Yet now, this is exciting because with Mercury direct, we're going to get some more forward-moving momentum. So if you felt like there was a lot of delays, there's a lot of miscommunication, things are slowly going to get better. Mercury will still be in the shadow period for a few weeks. I'll leave the exact dates down below, yet I want you to see this as there's this realization this week that we're all kind of receiving because of Mercury stationing direct. We're seeing this new perspective, and it's always good to check back in terms of the past to see what was coming up for you. Now, on the same day, on April 7th, we have Venus conjunct Saturn in Pisces. Venus is still retrograde at this time, and this looks a bit tense. This feels a little bit harsh. Venus is the planet of values. It's how we show love and affection, and with it conjunct Saturn in Pisces, we're getting very serious about our finances. We're getting very serious about our connections with other people, our partnerships. This could be a time when perhaps you pay your taxes, or you need to really change something when it comes to your relationships. Perhaps you're setting a boundary with a certain relationship. Perhaps you're trying to figure out a payment plan option for a certain mentor or coach you have, or perhaps you're trying to figure out how you can invest more in therapy. This is also a possibility. This could also look like connecting with a friendship or a romantic partner and just having a very serious conversation around your values. This is still very helpful. I want to state that this is actually very helpful because it's helping you understand your values long term. So since Venus is retrograde at this time, I see this as perhaps a past issue is coming up right now that needs to have a conversation or needs further reflection of what to do to make something more stable and grounded when it comes to your money, your values, but also how you show love and affection, what this looks like, especially when it comes to your mental health, spirituality, and your partnerships. Now, on April 8th, we have Venus in Pisces retrograde sextile to Uranus in Taurus, and we also have Mars in Cancer trine the North Node in Pisces. I'm going to dive deeper into this in the full moon in Libra chart for you, so stay tuned for that. On April 12th, we have the Sun conjunct Chiron in Aries. So I want to give you a heads up that the 12th can be a very sensitive day. I'm going to dive deeper into what this transit means in the full moon in Libra chart. Yet the 12th will be this very tender, very sensitive day where some old wounds can rise to the surface. Now on April 13th, we have the full moon in Libra, and we also have Venus turning direct in the sign of Pisces. Now, Venus direct is going to give you some realizations when it comes to your values, how you show love and affection, but also how you handle your money. Are you operating in an abundance mindset? How are you seeing your self-worth and self-value? Venus will be direct at 24 degrees of Pisces. So I want you to think back to what was happening for you January 28th, 2025, this year, and what came about? What conversations were you having? What was on your mind? Because something from that time period, you're gaining a new perspective. And you might be seeing your values or how you understand your self-worth in a different way. Now, I want to dive into this full moon in Libra chart for you. So this full moon in Libra is happening on April 13th, Pacific Standard Time, yet April 12th, Eastern Standard Time at 8:21 p.m. It's happening at 23 degrees of Libra, and it is directly opposing Chiron in Aries. This is intense. This is intense. I want to say this is one of the most emotional full moons of the year. Even though this full moon is not in a water sign where we can feel more things rising to the surface, there's still a lot coming up for us to heal with this full moon in Libra. This is because of this opposition to Chiron, and Chiron is conjunct the Sun at this time in the sign of Aries. So a lot of wounds around partnerships, relationships can come up right now, especially when it comes to our sense of worthiness, feeling good enough, feeling independent, feeling as though we're not being seen in a certain relationship. These can be some major themes that arise at this time. I will say we're going to be having some very sensitive conversations. I potentially see some people acting out of their ego during this time. You could see some very big reactions from people. We could feel a little bit less confident this day. This is a day where you should prioritize your healing work. Whatever that looks like, do not overbook yourself for this full moon in Libra. This is the time to rest, recharge, connect with friends that feel very nourishing and very understanding. If there are certain relationships in your life where you feel like you have to tiptoe around, or you feel as though it's a bit difficult for you to be vulnerable, I want to share that this day can feel a bit more hard. Now, what's really, really interesting about this full moon in Libra chart is we have this grand cross in this chart. So there's a lot of activation at this time. Not only do we have Mercury and Venus stationing direct this week, we have Mars in Cancer in a square to this full moon in Libra. This can feel a bit activating. This feels like you need to do something when it comes to changing up how you respond and react, especially when it comes to a family matter and position, or when it comes to your home. This also could potentially look like someone emotionally reacting to a situation. There's a change that needs to take place at this time, especially when it comes to your work or dating life. Perhaps you are realizing something where maybe you're not feeling as confident with Chiron conjunct the sun when it comes to the work you're doing or when it comes to a relationship, and it's hitting a sore spot for you. However, with Mars in Cancer, it's feeling like I need to change something right now. This is great, right? Because even though this can feel very uncomfortable, growth is uncomfortable, and we need this energy to make major pivots and changes in our life. Now, I say this is a grand cross because Mars is opposing Pluto in Aquarius at this time. This isn't a cardinal cross because Pluto is in Aquarius, but we will still feel this intensity from Pluto. We're still going to feel this obsession or feeling as though we need to transform how we work and date, especially when it comes to our emotional reactions and our intuition. Now, Mars opposing Pluto, this won't be exact until the following week, yet we're going to feel this buildup of, okay, I'm feeling like there's this pressure for me to change and transform something. When it comes to your community, when it comes to your friendship group, this could also look like protests at this time. Keep this in mind. A lot is rising to the surface, so secrets can be revealed, especially during this full moon, and especially because Mercury and Venus are turning direct and this Pluto activation. Yet, we're going to see most of this occur when Mars is opposing Pluto the following week. Now, I hope this doesn't scare anyone. This is still a very lovely full moon. This is going to be a very, very healing full moon because whatever is coming up for you right now is coming up for you to heal. It's coming up for you to remind yourself you're worthy of the love you desire. You're worthy of receiving more. And I'm saying this because the ruler of this full moon is Venus in Pisces retrograde. So Venus actually turns direct this day, yet in this full moon chart, Venus is still retrograde. So this is very interesting. So with Venus in Pisces retrograde in this chart as the ruler, we have a lot of themes around our values, how we show love and affection, but also, are we overvaluing something? And do we need to take a step back and see what is actually important for me? Have you been prioritizing something that you don't actually care about? This can be a time when you're more aware of this. With Venus retrogrades, we are really reflecting on, was this actually good for me? Was this decision actually best for me? Especially when it comes to our finances, our romantic relationships, our friendships. With Venus and Pisces, these major themes can be spirituality, the collective energy, breaking ancestral cycles. This could look like your intuition, spiritual partnerships, and how you are emotionally regulating yourself. How are you emotionally processing what is happening for you? This could be very, very key for you. For example, you could be seeing someone or going on a few dates with someone, and you realize they're not emotionally available. And you start to realize, no, that's something I value in a relationship. I need someone emotionally available. This could be a realization this day. This could also look like going after a job that you thought was going to emotionally fulfill you, and you start to realize, actually, no, this isn't what I wanted. because I actually value my spiritual and emotional growth, my creativity, and I value something that is more nourishing for my body, that makes me feel more safe. Now, Venus is sextile to Uranus in this full moon chart, and this is very lovely. This is very supportive. You can get some sudden breakthroughs when it comes to your values, when it comes to your finances. You can get a surprise gift, or perhaps you learn something new about your money mindset. You can get a subconscious breakthrough. Perhaps you get a lovely surprise when it comes to food. You get a lovely free gift of food, or perhaps you get just a lovely message from someone you really love and care about, and it really makes your day. This could also look like a very strong spiritual message that you receive from your spirit guides, from a spiritual mentor. This looks very, very supportive though around your life path and what you feel like you need to emotionally process for you to move forward. Now, Mercury is conjunct the North Node for this full moon in Libra chart. So we're going to have more conversations around the full moon in Libra, around our life path, how we can really be more spiritually fulfilled, what that looks like to you, but also how you emotionally regulate. How are you taking care of your mental health? What do you need more of? How are you protecting your energy? These are going to be some major, major themes right now. So Mars in Cancer is actually in a trine to Neptune in Aries, Mercury in Pisces, the North Node in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, and Venus in Pisces at this time. This is very interesting. So this huge change that you do for this full moon in Libra, where you feel like you need to take action right away and change your life, especially around work and dating, or how you emotionally respond and react when it comes to a workplace or a spiritual partnership or a relationship. This is helping you so much. This is feeling very aligned in the actions you're doing. You're trying to take more steps that are better for your long term future and your long term goals. What that looks like for you. With this trine to Saturn that we're feeling for quite a few days, this looks like putting in some hard work, but feeling more excited and motivated for this. Listen to your intuition for this full moon in Libra, because this is a lot of water energy, so your intuition could be very heightened this day, and whatever you're being spiritually called to do can help you with your life path and your purpose this day. Now, what's also supporting us in this full moon in Libra chart is Mars in Cancer is in a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So this feels very exciting. This feels like you're breaking free from how you usually work and date. Perhaps you are doing something different, or you're not responding or reacting in the same way. And it actually feels a lot better. It feels more like you can have this momentum to move forward, or you're just feeling more supported in terms of the actions you're taking. The last thing I want to point out with this full moon in Libra chart is this full moon is also in a trine to Jupiter in Gemini. So this is very lucky. This is very expansive. Your relationships, especially your friendships during this time, can feel very motivating, very uplifting. It could feel like you have this bigger perspective on life and the world around why you need to change something in your life right now. Again, I'm saying this because this Grand Cross energy is wanting you to make a change. And cardinal signs are going to really feel this the most. However, we're all going to feel this impact in our charts. So Jupiter is here to really help us during this time. Jupiter wants you to believe in yourself. Jupiter wants you to study something new and dive deeper into a topic and learn more. So this trine to Jupiter in Gemini is helping us with the belief in ourselves, but also what we can accomplish, what this looks like, and we have some really lovely support from our friends and potentially siblings during this time. So those are the major transits for this full moon in Libra. If you want to manifest for this full moon in Libra, come join me in the Moon Sign Creative Community for our full moon in Libra event. Replays are available. This manifestation ritual will be specific to this full moon in Libra. We're going to be focusing on love and how to just manifest more love into your life, what this looks like, how to overcome any feelings of unworthiness, and how to just see and realize all the love that's currently around you and amplify it. I'm super excited for this because I've seen previous community members get into healthy relationships after rituals, and I've also just seen how it's improved everyone's self-love and their relationships to their friends, their relationships to their family members, their relationships to their current partners, and what they're looking for in a romantic relationship. So if you want to join us, replays are available, and it's going to be so much fun. We'll dive deep into how this full moon is impacting your chart specifically, and I hope to see you there. Now for today's topic, I want to share a client story that honestly blew my own mind because we just had a major breakthrough happen just recently. And she has been a client of mine for a few years, and I've seen her growth through each reading and how much she is embracing her own power and intuition and witchy powers, which I love so much personally. With my previous reading with her, what I really, really loved was we went through her life path and the importance of the North Node currently being in Pisces and how this aligns with her placements. For her, she was trying to understand her past lives and why this lifetime she had such a strong connection to a particular topic. I'm not going to mention this specific topic, but she had this very, very strong connection to a specific topic that she loves diving deep into, and she loves studying more, and she feels very, very spiritually called to. So we have these conversations with her birth chart, and we go through her placements and how she is an old soul. I love looking at someone's birth chart, and I can really, really see if they are an old soul or not. There are certain placements in your chart where you can kind of feel this. If you already feel like an old soul, I'm just kind of curious as to why that is. Let me know in the comments on YouTube or on Substack. Yet, looking at her chart, we could see that, okay, this is very clear that she's had many lifetimes. And we go through these placements. There are certain 12th house placements that can feel this way. You can also look at degrees. I tend to look at how late a degree is because that is going to give you some information as to, okay, this is a more older energy or this is a more intense energy of that sign. So we could see this in her chart, and she's resonating with this so much. And before we end our session, I love giving tarot readings to people. I love ending a session with a tarot reading after a birth chart reading because I want to give you what your guides really want you to hear. And the thing is, how I read birth charts is very different than how I read tarot. So I want to give you multiple perspectives in a session. And with her, when we pulled her tarot cards, she asked why she had this strong connection to this particular topic that she was so interested in, and she knew there was something that she wasn't receiving or she wasn't registering as to why that was. So I pulled these cards and I am shook. I am completely shook by the cards that fell out for her. And I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting emotional. And I will say, like, reading tarot for me is very spiritual because it's more so this connection to your spirit guides. It is an introspective tool because we are all connected. We are all just energy. We're just connecting to energy in a different way. Yet I pull these cards for her, and she is shocked. She is completely shocked. I am completely shocked. We go through this very emotional moment, and we start to realize, wow, this is so much deeper than we expect. And I'm not going to share exactly what her reading was to respect her privacy, yet she told me after that session that something clicked in her subconscious mind, and she was thinking about this reading hours later. It was something that was so powerful that she really needed to hear this message. It helped her really understand this strong connection she had to a particular topic and how this relates to her life right now in this lifetime, how it relates to her life path, and why it's so, so important for her right now, and how she's helping other people in her life through this. So I wanted to share this story because for me, that was probably one of the most emotional times I've had in a reading, because for me, I'm usually focused on the other person when I'm reading someone's chart, and tarot is a really powerful tool for us to connect to what is not logical, what is not physical. Tarot is helping us connect to energy that is unseen, and it can help us really understand our subconscious mind in a deeper way that we didn't expect. So it's understanding, how can we connect this together? How can we connect tarot and astrology in a session to help you uncover what your subconscious mind really needs you to hear? How you could be restricting yourself, or how can you be hiding certain things from yourself because you think you're protecting yourself, or you're not ready to hear that information, yet it does come out in the right time. And even for myself, I know that when I get a reading with someone and I hear something that gives me a breakthrough, it improves all other areas of my life, because your career is connected to your relationships are connected to your family life, your family life is connected to who you are, how you see yourself, your confidence, what this means for you, what this looks like for you, and how you can kind of step into a more confident, abundant, peaceful version of yourself. So I hope this inspires you to look at a different modality for yourself. Maybe try tarot out if you don't have a tarot deck, or perhaps look at your birth chart, look at your transit chart, see if you have anything transiting your 12th house or your 8th house. We were looking at her solar return chart, so she did book a solar return reading from me, which is your birthday reading and gives you the energy of your year ahead. I do want to preface that because that can give you some really, really lovely excitement for the next year of your life. Yet, looking at your solar return chart can help you understand, okay, this is the information I really need to know, and this is what I need to focus on, and this is what I need to overcome before I reach this goal, or before I reach this focus. And if you don't currently use these modalities to help you uncover what you could be holding yourself back from, I want you to use this journal prompt to help you with this. So just ask yourself and just write down, how am I holding myself back? And then keep asking yourself why. This is a method where it is the 7 whys. So sometimes we can have a very surface level response, but I want you to keep digging deeper as to why that is. So for example, if you ask yourself, how am I holding myself back? And you could say, I'm afraid. Ask yourself why and dig deeper, and you could say, I'm afraid of being seen by certain people, feeling judged. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. I'm afraid of what other people will think of me. Ask yourself why again and keep digging deeper as to where that stems from. When was the first time you experienced that? Keep digging deeper, and that's going to help you uncover so much so that you can know what to change. Which limiting belief do you need to uncover so that you can change it and ask yourself, actually, I want to believe this instead. I'm going to rewrite this narrative for myself and believe this other thing instead. So if you have this fear of being seen and being judged, ask yourself, what would you rather believe? So for myself, I did have this fear of being seen. So for myself, I rather believe that I'm here to be seen to help people heal. And I am here to be seen to help people step into their most confident, bravest, boldest versions of themselves. I'm here to help raise the collective consciousness. I'm here to help people understand themselves in such a deep, loving way. I'm here to share my authenticity and to help others be more authentic in their lives. So I hope that practice and that recommendation helps you. If you want to explore your own birth chart in depth with me, I just have a few spots left for April. At the time of this recording, I'll only have 3 spots for 1-hour sessions in April, and then I won't have any readings in May, so now is the perfect time to book. I still have a few sessions left for 30-minute sessions, which are breakthrough birth chart sessions. I haven't had them in so long, so take advantage of this. I'm super excited for them. And let's get into your tarot reading for this week. So the first card out is the Empress card reverse. So this is a card where it's interesting because I think we received this card this previous week. I might be mistaken for another week, but with the Empress reverse, we're not feeling as attractive as we would like. We're not feeling as abundant as we would like. We're not feeling as powerful as we'd like. There's something that we need to go within and understand. How can you activate that part of yourself right now? How can you remind yourself you're beautiful as you are? How can you remind yourself you are rich just as you are? How can you remind yourself of everything that's going right in your life right now? I'm also hearing this message that we're letting go of certain values that we think we need, or certain values that we were understanding were important to us but no longer are. This makes a lot of sense with Venus stationing direct this week, especially for the full moon in Libra. So I am seeing that. Okay, so I'm also hearing this message that we're saying goodbye to a certain female figure this week. This is more so just, don't worry, this is just more so as maybe you are not clicking with a certain friend and you are moving away from that friendship. This could also look like a certain manager that you no longer resonate with. I'm seeing this more so like a mother figure that you need to take some space away from. It doesn't necessarily mean your mother, but maybe you're just setting a boundary or you're moving away from this energy. Keep this in mind. I'm also hearing this message that if you are a mother, there's something this week where you're trying to not make this the entirety of your identity, or you are trying to let go of this idea that being a mother needs to look this way, or being a perfect mother has to look this way. You're letting go of this idea because there's no such thing as a perfect mother. There's no such thing as a there's no such thing as a perfect human. So this is a good reminder of that. I am hearing this message. The next card out is the Two of Pentacles reverse. So we're letting go of indecision this week, which is great. So if you felt like you were just juggling a lot, you just felt like you didn't know what was happening, you had to find your balance. There's just so much going on, you have to take on so much. This is a week where you're just letting everything go. You're just like, no, I can't do this anymore. Full moons are about release and letting go. So there's a lot you're releasing this week. I'm also hearing this message that because of the full moon in Libra, there are certain things that can come up right now about past relationships that you're still processing and healing, and you're just trying to cry it out, or you're just trying to let it go. I do have some letting go affirmations. If you are trying to heal from an ex, or you're trying to heal from a situationship, or you're trying to heal from a past person, go check out those free overnight affirmations, because I was bawling my eyes out recording them and listening back to them. I'm like, this is so powerful. This is for anyone who just needs to cut the cord with anyone who is taking their energy. But this card, you are letting go of just feeling like you're in two places at once. This is a week where you're trying to find your balance, right? You don't have to take on everything. You do not have to take on so much. Ask for a break. Ask for some time for yourself. Please prioritize yourself and schedule in some rest. I think we're all going to need that, but please schedule in some rest. The next card out is the Death card. I personally love the Death card. I think this is the perfect card for this week with that Grand Cross. Again, it's not an exact Grand Cross because Pluto is an Aquarius, so it's not a cardinal sign, but still, there's still that activation. The Death card wants you to transform something this week. The Death card wants you to change your life this week, right? Listen to your intuition. Listen to what feels good for you. This is a rebirth. Okay, so this is a rebirth energy this week where you're seeing yourself in a new light, and the work you're doing and the actions you're taking, you're finally going to see how this is transforming you. So a lot is coming up. Again, the Death card wants you to let something go though, because your new life is going to cost you your old one. So remind yourself of that. The next card out, I asked us what our block is this week. We have the Three of Pentacles. So you could be so lost thinking about the future this week that it's really, really hard for you to stay present. So this is a week where you're trying to plan ahead, you're trying to take all these steps. This can feel very overwhelming and anxiety inducing. So please take time to process your emotions, feel your feelings, meditate, journal, EFT tap, dance, do anything to regulate your emotions right now, because this is asking you to take a step back and stop over analyzing what needs to happen in the future, because you need to stay present. Okay, whatever you can do to stay present right now is going to be so, so helpful. Also, a lot of trip planning can come up right now as well. I asked how to overcome this block, and we got the Four of Pentacles reverse. So you could feel a bit scarce right now. So to overcome this, if you've been trying to plan for your future and you've been trying to hoard money, you're trying to save money, but you're not circulating that wealth, that is actually not helping you right now. If you're not enjoying your life, if you're not investing in your knowledge or your future, or you're not investing in things you actually value, that's going to make you feel a bit more scarce. That's going to make you feel a bit more like you're in a lack mentality. So the Four of Pentacles reverse wants you to let this go, right? Let go of having your guard up so much, especially around finances. See and trust that more money is going to come to you. I also have overnight wealth affirmations that are completely free if that helps you at all to feel more abundant and rich as you sleep. Yet, this is a card to really let go of, you think everything needs to be material right now. Whereas this North Node is in Pisces right now. So we need to lean in to our spirituality. We need to lean into the bigger perspective. We need to stay present, yes, but also just let go that there's more out there for you. I'm also hearing this message that if you're in a relationship or situationship that needs to end, and you're thinking, I can't find someone as good as this person, that's acting from a lack mindset, right? Remind yourself that there's so many people out in the world. You're worthy of finding a relationship that allows you to feel seen, that helps you feel seen, that is the perfect match for you. Of course, nothing is perfect, but you're worthy of the love that you desire, right? And this is a card to let go. Stop having your guard up, right? It's I know it can be hard, I know it can be tricky, but this is a really good reminder. Your oracle cards are take a field trip. So if you can go out into nature, refresh, recharge, that's going to feel so good. Stay present, enjoy your life. See things for what they are is the next card. So this is a week where you're going to get more clarity. Full moons bring us a lot more clarity as to what our situation is. And with Mercury and Venus this week stationing direct and going forward, you're going to get some more realizations. The last card is anything you want is out there somewhere. Such a beautiful, beautiful reminder. I love this card. Remind yourself that what you're looking for exists, right? And you can manifest it. You can call it in. If you want help with your manifestation, come join me in the Moon Sign Creative Community. I'm super, super excited for it. Honestly, I'm so excited for this full moon in Libra event. I am so grateful for my community because everyone in the community is so sweet, so kind, so empathetic. I really attract amazing spiritual and creative entrepreneurs or people who just want to get more in touch with their spirituality, who really value self-growth, who value empathy, who value compassion, who value knowledge and understanding and equality. So if that sounds like you, come join us. And if you'd like a private session with me, I'll leave a link to that down below. I'm happy to read your birth chart for April. I'm super, super excited for that. And thank you so much for watching, friend. Let me know what comes up for you with this full moon in Libra. Comment down below. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and like this video because it really, really does help me out. Thank you for watching, and just remember, the universe has your back, and with peace and love, take care.